Good evening, everyone. I just want to, wish you a blessed night. But there are just times when some things pull on us and touch our heart so much so that we got to share it. And that's what God has placed us here on earth for, to share the knowledge that He has given us, not to keep it to ourselves so we can get so fat, and so heady with it, but it's to share and let you know that you're on the right path, or, some things that you may need to tweak so that you can get on the right path. Lately, I've been coming across some emails that have video leadership on them at my job. And so I send them over to my regular email so that I can later look at it and just glean from it. And I'd like to share with you some quotes from a session with Allison Levine. And Allison was the first American woman to climb Mount Everest. She went on an expedition with some women to Mount Everest, climbed the highest peaks on both continents, and also skied to the North and the South Pole. But this is what Allison says. I'm going to read it word for word because I don't want to get it wrong. But she says, we think that progress within our organizational vision has to occur in one particular direction, forward or upward. Even the times where we may feel that we are headed in the complete opposite direction can actually enable us to eventually reach our destination. Mountain climber Allison Levine uses her experience of climbing Mount Everest to illustrate the idea of backward progress. Mount Everest, or climbing Mount Everest, is not straightforward. In fact, the progression is similar to maintaining a strong organizational vision. In mountain climbing, you don't go from base camp to camp 1 to camp 2. In other words, going up from one place to the next place to the next place to the next place. In other words, what really happens is that once you get to base camp, which is at the bottom of the mountain, you have to spend a few days there getting used to the altitude. The next day, you spend climbing up to camp 1. You spend the night at camp 1, and then the next day you come back down to the base camp. You spend a few more nights at base camp, then you climb to camp 1 and spend the night, climb up to camp 2 and spend the night. The next day, back down to base camp. The reason you have to keep coming back down to the base camp is because you have to let your body get used to the altitude very slowly. It's a process that's called acclimatization. The catch is that any time you're above 18,000 feet, which is any camp above base camp, anytime you're above 18,000 feet, your body is starting to deteriorate and your muscles are getting weaker. So you have to keep coming back down to a lower elevation just so you can eat, sleep, hydrate, regain some strength. Psychologically, she says, it's very frustrating and it makes it hard to stay focused on moving forward. How do you motivate people in your organization when it seems that the growth has stopped? Plateaus can actually be important in building to success and advancement. Have you ever let organizational plateaus negatively impact your organizational vision? What you have to remember is that even though you're going completely backwards, you're still making progress. Inspirational leadership means getting your team to understand that sometimes you have to go backwards in order to eventually get to where you want to be. So I just want to encourage you, because sometimes in our life it seems like you take 2 steps forward and then you get knocked back. And you just think that, hey, I'm just going to give up because I'm not going anywhere. When in essence, you're making progress. The time that you actually get stifled in your growth is when you just decide to stop altogether. But when we go forward and then we have to go backwards, that's when we refuel. That's when we go back and gain strength, like she said, and, hydrate, sleep, eat. Do the things necessary to strengthen your body so that you can go to the next level. You cannot stay at the same place you were last year or last week. You gotta, get more, build yourself up so that the next level you go to, you can maintain your status on that level. A lot of people just look at others who have success and they see that they're up on the mountain and they just want to go straight up the mountain. But you don't understand that if you go straight up that mountain, it's going to kill you. So I remember T.D. Jakes talking a few years about, strengthening your foundation, because you're as strong as your foundation. If your foundation is weak, you're not going to stay where you are. In fact, your foundation is going to crumble and then you're eventually going to fall. So I just want you to know, though it seems like you're not making any progress, don't be moved by what it looks like. Keep pressing forward. And if you have to take a couple of steps backward, take those steps, but stand on your feet and move forward at the next prompting. Don't stand still unless God says so. Because the word does say, be still and know that I'm God. But also, he told the children of Israel, he said, I want you to gird up your loins. I want you to have your sandals on. I want you to, not make leavened bread, because you got to be able to run when I tell you to run. And so in the times when it seems like nothing's going on, gird yourself up. Build yourself up. Get your food ready. Get ready to be able to move to wherever God sends you in the next season. I love you. Be blessed and be encouraged. Have a good night.